Today on Arts 24, she's captivated audiences with performances in films like Attenberg, which won her Best Actress at the Venice Film Festival, Alps and the Lobster, from Greek director Yorgos Lanthimos, and Assassin's Creed. Now, the French actress is making her directorial debut with September Says, a Gothic, suspense-filled exploration of sisterhood. Welcome to Ariane Labed. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Now, congratulations on this film. You've got 3 fantastic actresses. I love the universe that you have created. This is a story based on Daisy Johnson's novel Sisters. What drew you to this story, and why was it time to get behind the camera?
I think first I fell in love with the characters. For me, discovering those 2 sisters, 15 and 16 years old, and talking about teenagehood this way was pretty unique, and I got very excited about the idea of showing them to the world somehow. And Daisy Johnson has this very attention for details and everyday life material, and using them to bring you somewhere else, almost to a fantastic world. So that's something that really drew me to her world and trying to make it mine. I had in mind to direct since the beginning, I think, since I did Attenberg, my first film. It just took me time. And I did my first short film, Ola, 5 years ago. And then it took me that long to actually make my first feature film.
OK, well, let's get a sense of the film.
September says, turn around. September says, dance. September says, you have to last as long as possible without laughing. Silly to lie. Watch where you put your feet.
What are you talking about?
September!
Your sister's there.
September says, I'm gonna poke your eyes out!
If only one of us could remain, it would be you.
There we go, a sense of the atmosphere in the film. Now, as an actress, you have been in both Greek and international films, from your breakthrough performance in Attenberg to working with your husband, Yorgos Lanthimos, in The Lobster, amongst others. You also appeared in films like Before Midnight and Assassin's Creed. What insights did you gain as an actress that you're now applying to being a director?
It's a great film school, really, because I realized just before doing September Says that I had spent more time on set than most directors I've worked with, which is great. So it's a great position to actually understand and learn the dynamic of a set. And I also knew that I wanted to work with my collaborators in a very collaborative way, meaning that, I don't see a director as a genius who arrives on set and tells people what to do. It's a very collective form of art, which I love. And for the way of working, I could build that through my experiences as an actress. And then for my cinematographic language, it's really something very intimate that I guess I was also influenced by the people I've worked with and by films that I've watched. I never really asked myself what style I want to do or something like that. It really needs to be a voice that I'm searching for and my own.
Well, let's talk about the dynamic between the 2 sisters, September and July. It's fascinating. It's also very stressful to watch. How did you approach developing that relationship?
So I think that every family has a language somehow. And I wanted to work on that with the actors to find how these 2 young girls cope with the world, because at school, in high school, we can see that they're not the cool kids, or they're not really welcome. They're actually bullied. So they have to create their own safe world. And doing that, they actually create almost a language, a body language, some sounds, some things that I think every family does. So the starting point was really trying to find something physical in that language, and to try to find games. There are many games in the film, which I think are great tools in order to play with something light that can become, if we push it a little bit, very dangerous. So what interests me in cinema, I think, is this thin line of, this is absolutely normal, I recognize that. Yeah, I know what it is, to something that actually loses control and the audience on edge. I
Yeah,
hope.
we'll take a look at an example of that now in a clip showing the dynamic between the two sisters.
It's nothing silly to lie. See? If I die, will you die too?
Yes.
If one of us had to die, and we could choose which one, would you die in my place?
Yes. Of course, it would be me.
You promise?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, there are so many layers to this film. I even love the deco, like the tiles in the bathroom. There is a strong focus on the female experience. There we see them shaving their legs. We also talk about periods, sexuality. And why was it important for you to show the messiness of being a woman?
I think this has been hidden by cinema for so long, but so many male directors has made great portrait of women without showing that part of our intimacy, which I think is also very important to us because it's
Daily life.
daily life, yeah. So I really wanted to show what is usually hidden, and I really wanted to talk about femininity with, yeah, all the messiness, you know, like dirty hair, many old dirty clothes, hair, period, all of that I think is completely part of what we are as well. We're not just this, you know, beautiful ladies with the makeup when we wake up. These things that we see in cinema, I really wanted to create another representation of women.
Well, you are an advocate for gender equality in the film industry. You co-founded the Actors Association to improve working conditions for actors and to increase the use of intimacy coordinators and better protection on set. How does your feminist work impact your filmmaking?
It impacts everything. It's really making this film for me is putting in practice the theory of female gaze. So for me, it's very important to create new images, to talk about sexuality differently, to create and to talk about adolescence and teenagehood without sexualizing actresses. So all of that is a guide for me for the mise en scène, because it's a way of looking at these young girls or women. It guides
refreshing
everything.
to watch. It's so refreshing to watch.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you about what's going on a bit in France off the camera with the recent conviction of the director Christophe Roudia for sexually assaulting the actress Adèle Haenel when she was a minor. France has seen its first major Me Too case reach the courtroom. How do you feel about this milestone in the fight against sexual misconduct in the French film industry? Is a shift taking place?
I think it's just the beginning, and the result of that trial is very symbolic, and we need symbols like that. We need people like Judith Godrèche or Adèle Haenel. But there are so many actresses and people, of course, and women who are not known, are just going through maybe sometimes the same trauma, and the result is not the same. So I think it's very important to keep fighting, and there's so much still to do in our industry, of course in our society, but our industry is also still very built by this idea of auteur, who has all the power, to whom you never say no. So this is also a mentality that we have to change in French cinema, and as you mentioned, the use of intimacy coordinator is part of that, trying to use all the tools we have to make sure that everybody is safe and consent to what they're doing. Sounds like the basic things, but it's not really applied in French cinema.
Okay, are you feeling positive about the future, optimistic about things changing?
I'm trying, yeah. For sure, I mean, that's why we created this association, LADA. We're here to make sure that things are happening, so they will, yeah.
Okay, well, you're not just working in French cinema, you're also working in American cinema. You have a supporting role in The Brutalist.
Yeah, so it's a very small part, but yeah, I'm very happy I did that.
Well, it's a favourite for an Oscar this year,
Yeah.
so it's nice to be associated with it. Do you have other projects coming up?
I did a French TV series that might come up maybe in autumn, and yeah, I'm gonna be working on British film, yeah, it's still kind of work in progress, but I really want to have time after the release of my film to write again and to work on my next project.
Okay, so you've got an idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
I do.
We'll look forward to that. And finally, we want to end with your cultural pick of the moment. Tell us what you've chosen for us.
Yeah, I've chosen the exhibition of Suzanne Valadon at the Pompidou Center, and it's amazing. I discovered her. I didn't know about her, to be honest. As many women artists, we find out about them way too late. And I realized that she was completely putting in practice what I've been talking about the female gaze, and I was completely amazed by the way she looked at those women. That is exactly what I'm trying to do as well. So it's, you see somebody who is completely not sexualized, accepted as she is. I think in a manner that we haven't been used in painting as well, because again, we've been used to male painter representing women, so most of the time sexualizing them. So this was a very beautiful experience to watch her work and discover her work.
Okay. Ariane, thank you so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure to have you on the show. We're going to leave you then with the Suzanne Valadon exhibition at the Centre Pompidou, which is on until the 26th of May. September Says is in cinemas in France from the 19th of February. Thanks for watching. See you next time.